Okay, so I had a question on YouTube. Let's paint this scenario real quickly. All right, let's start at the beginning. Let's do that. So your team is conditioned. Your team is fed. Your team is feet are in really good shape, or they're shod correctly. Their feet aren't real long or anything crazy. They're in shape, so they're not going to injure themselves. Your harness, you're not going to cheap on your harness. You have a good quality collar that's well fitted. If your horse has a big neck, bent neck, you got the pulling hames that are bent, your line draft is right, you've laid a good foundation. And your go to pull some weight, you got one horse chalking up, just standing still, and one horse doing the work of two horses, starting the load at the hardest part, and the rest of the time they drive together perfectly. But they're not starting the load together. There's two techniques, and I hope I'm not going to insult people here. But I'm going to call one the Ayersworth way. Ayersworth has a YouTube channel, some really good content on there and whatnot. I don't have time to watch a lot of his stuff. What little bit I've seen of it and whatnot looks great. Seems like a great channel. His way of correcting this is to have a short switch or a switch where have the reins in both hands, and let's say I'm going to call the horses brothers. Let's say this horse right here, he'll have the switch in this hand, and in the moment that horse chalks up, he'll take and just switch them. We're not talking about horse blowing up. We're not talking about some big tragedy. We're talking about just starting off. This horse has learned if he chalks up and stands still, all the work goes on to his other horse, and he doesn't have to put out effort. He's just being lazy. All right. So in the moment he does that, he gets a correction. That's one way of doing it. Jeff Fergie has influenced me in my driving a lot, and I can get him on here and talk about. I really should have had him talking instead of me, probably. He and I have adopted this for the most part, not 100% of the time, but the vast majority of the time. And Jeff says I got the most willingest team in the world. I got one horse willing to pull it all, and another horse willing to let them, and it's true. So I Gus and Boom, when you see them working well together, it didn't just magically happen that way, guys. Um, so Jeff says to never punch a horse when they're pulling. If they're pulling incorrectly, never punch them when they're going for and pulling. And I would say the vast majority of the time, not 100% of the time, but the vast majority of the time, I have adopted this as well. So you stop your team, they take off, one horse scotches, stop them. Your hot horse is going to rev up by this at the beginning, but after in a little bit of time, it's going to calm him down actually, and this is going to rev your lazy horse up. You're going to stop them. You're going to take your line or small switch. We're talking about a switch smaller. It doesn't take much. Something smaller than my pinky even. I'll take a little branch, a little switch I got, or whatever, and hold them. Do not let them go forward. Switch them, fuss at them a little bit. Just switch them, fuss at them, ask them again. Again, he gets switched again, and he's getting revved up like, hey, this ain't fun getting this little switch or whatever, or getting popped with the line. And when he does that, he's getting revved up, and you're going to have to make certain you smother down your good horse. You don't let him just get out in front and get it. Smother him down and give this other horse the opportunity to get his fair share of the load. What's going to start happening as that horse has to start working and putting out effort, he's going to rev up in temperament. As your hard-working horse realizes he's not having to do it all, his brother's going to let him get his fair share. His temperament is going to come down. Now we're doing this with a load that one horse can start, but it's going to be difficult for one horse to start. We're going to make certain it's not fiber holding, or this is not. We're going to set ourselves up for success. We're not going to have any room for error. We're not going to have an injured horse or underfed horse or harness misfitting. We're going to do this when everything is right, and this horse is 100% just being lazy, okay? And that's the only problem here. So never punch them going for it. Okay, and another thing, you're beating getting your horse to pull. Heaven's sakes. No, we're not. No. Okay? If you were to take and pop me with that line, I could say, you hit me with that line. I'm not a 2,000-pound horse that runs around the pasture with other 2,000-pound horses kicking the shit out of each other with rock hard hooves. Okay? So, I mean, this is a correction. This isn't a beating. This is a correction. Okay? So let's just be clear about that. So, when that horse first time gets his fair share of load and does his job, stop him, unhook him, peel him out, give him a good break. You say, things are going right, I don't want it. Reward him and make him, don't pet him, don't fuss, don't say shit, don't be around people. Sit there quietly and let that horse think. Let the team think about, why are we getting a break? What do we do different? And let them think and see it. Then you go back and hook up to it again. If they start off and they do it right and they take it, don't ask too much of them. Stop them, unhook them. This takes time and repetition. When that horse screws up and it's like, hey, I'm going to be a little bit lazy, and you're perfectly consistent, stop them right there, give them a correction. Which way is better? The immediate correction in the moment, or not punishing them while they're moving forward, giving them a correction, stopping them and giving them a correction. Guys, it doesn't matter. And what I mean by it doesn't matter, when you pick a mentor, and you should take everything that you see online with a tremendous grain of salt. A mentor in person is priceless. A good one. Whatever technique you go with, stick with it and be consistent with it. If you're swapping from this technique 1 week or 1 month to this technique another week, another month, whatever, you're screwing up, okay? Even if you're using a subpar technique, a well-executed subpar technique is 100 times better than a superior technique poorly executed, okay? And so different people need to hear different things. Some people are naturally too heavy-handed. Some people are naturally too light-handed. Some people, every team is different, every person is different, and we all need to maybe hear different things. Don't worry, so taking a generic, what should I do with this problem from online, do that with a lot of caution. There's so many things the camera can't pick up. There's so many things, little details that really add up. Having a mentor in person is really awesome. And there are some really good teams. I'm not a great teamster. I'm not a great teacher or anything else. There are some really, really phenomenal. I tell you, Jeff Fergie, he is not the epitome of everything to do with horses. He has a bizarre way of working the lines, and I've studied him for years. From starting a load to about 3 feet up, he's just got me. He has a bizarre way of working the lines, and I've studied, and he's just better than me at certain things. Maybe someday I'll get there. Maybe I won't. But what bits you're using. I mean, everything comes into play. So, yeah, I hope that helps somebody. I hope no one takes what I say and misapplies it somehow and screws it up and makes things worse. But whatever you do it with confidence. If you're going to correct something, let your voice, let your mood, everything be confident and consistent. And read your animal. If you're reading your animal right, you're going to have great success. As that lazy horse gets his fair share, that hot horse is going to start realizing in time and start calming down. And you can make a beautiful team out of horses that aren't perfectly matched. And wish you guys the best. Any other questions? If y'all would like to have Jeff come on and talk about where you probably get more out, we'll probably get more out of him if he came on here and talked about it. but I have great respect for these animals, and I believe, we are asking a lot of them when we pull heavy, and I believe if we're expecting a lot of our animals, we should expect a lot out of ourselves. And so, uh, I try not to. I expect my horses not to cheat on me, and I will not cheat on my horses either, though. So, make sure you do your prep work. Make sure you do all your preparations the best you can, and the best of luck to you. Take care, guys. Thanks.